Greetings, dear friends. We continue working on the game page. Outside of the video, I updated the picture, I cropped it, and didn't spend time on it in the video. And in this lesson, we continue with the page, and next up we have this wonderful slider. Let's implement a separate block for it. This will be a static block, so let's immediately move to our code. As a template, let's take a blank, for example, the hero block, which, as far as I remember, was static. Therefore, we create a duplicate in the control panel and change the basics. These IDs will be called, not overthink it and just call it slider. We don't have a block with such an ID yet. And let's go through the metadata. Like this through the attributes. Look at what attributes we will have. We will have a title, a description, and an array that we will use to store images. In this array, you can store not only images but also links. How to store it is another question, I don't know. We'll do it either this way or that way in principle. I don't see any problem with this, so we go through the debuts, leaving the title, leaving the description. Link, we don't have such an attribute. In general, we remove all these unnecessary ones and leave only the slider attribute, which will be an array, empty. Such an attribute is good. Moving on to styles. For the admin panel, we remove all styles for the front part from here. Let's leave it for now. We'll come back to it later. Vue.js. What do we have here, here, and not for the slider either? Let's leave it for now. We'll come back later and edit. So we'll go through the admin panel. What fields will we need? 2 text fields and a media place folder for uploading an image. We remove everything else unnecessary. There will be rich text. Media plot. We remove. We have enough of media place folder. Next, text control, text area control. We don't need the corner control. We'll keep the button here, but we'll move it right here from the component. So the editor is empty for me, but I won't delete it. In the previous lesson, we kind of needed it. I don't think anything will need to be reset in the admin panel, but in any case, we'll let it be for now. So now we have the slide item, which is a separate component that we covered in the previous lessons. In one of the very first ones, when we were creating the hero block, we probably created it. We'll just edit it to suit our needs. We will no longer have light and dark versions. We only have one version, so we'll remove all of this. We'll remove this. We don't need any title here. Let's show it here. Like in the previous lessons, we'll use an attribute and show the image already in the media placeholder component. We'll add the media preview attribute and a link to the image, but the image will no longer be light image, just image. And here, in principle. Okay, let's go down. So we load the title attribute, description, and remove everything else. And load the slides. Next, we remove this from here. When changing slides, we leave it. Next, our array. We only keep the image. Content, we remove this. Not the comma, that can also be removed. Next, we edit the component. Slider, string, description, title, description. Remove unnecessary parts. So the media fruit here is also unnecessary. Next, the slider itself, we'll probably leave it in a separate bugs panel. It will have its own tab. We'll just replace it. Title, slider, images. Next, we remove the body of the component. We will have an internal slider, and in it we will have a title for the content. We'll use H2 only. We will have a description, and by the way, this block will be full width. Since the slide, as you can see, goes from left to right, taking up the full width, we'll also add some cool links. Next, there are none here. After the title and description, we will launch a container with the slider. So we create a separate div. We will have him slider. I don't even know what to call it. Let's say media, slider, media. In it we will have a wrapper for the swiper. And inside a loop here, we copy and paste. So we go through the slides, creating a separate swiper, slide container. Next, there will be two images in it. Then the image will be the same. Simply, one image will have the class blur, and the other image will not have blur, like this. Since we have, if we look, you see we have two images, one blurred, one on top of the unblurred one. This creates such an effect. We achieve it with these two tags. So, okay, we created it here, closed it here, and close this main one. Remove all unnecessary things from here. And look carefully. If everything is fine, then yes, it seems everything is in order with the divs. Let's run the compiler and check what we have edited. Go to the admin panel, to the product page, and call the new block. But I didn't register it, so it doesn't find it. So let's register this block. We have a static one without a callback. Now it has appeared. So we have errors. Let's take a look. We have a component button is not loading, but I thought I inserted it. and probably commented it out, but didn't insert it. So our component and save the image. Let's choose this image and set the radius 0 to have no border and save it in the current size. I'll return the border back here. Loading this image. So the deed has been received. Let's save it. Refresh the page, check if the saving works. We are encountering a critical error. The critical error arises due to issues within the PHP domain. And I don't think our blocks could have caused something like this. Because even if the problem is in the block, we currently don't have a GSAfe, we don't have the front part. In theory, this could cause a problem. But in such cases, there will always be a recoverable block at most. And if such a critical error is issued, it means the problem is in PHP. Let's exit here to the post site. And this is our block that we are editing. Let's open this last one. And here you see an error is being displayed. There is no error here. Apparently something went wrong. All right, never mind. Let's probably delete this block. So we'll move it to the trash. Let's continue working with this block. But before that, let's finish the block and make sure it's not some internal conflict within the block. Therefore, we copy the body from edit. Here it is, this body. Let's go to JSSAfe and replace is nomad body. But I assume there might be an issue with the stake JSON as it contains completely different code. But I don't think it's usually that big of a deal. The recovery block always outputs. We only load the data we need, and we also need a class on the container that too. We pass it. Through the components, we use speech text, it loads for us. Further, next, we need the content, meaning we access this content from the front and it changes. This attribute no longer makes sense on the front part. Everything else remains exactly the same. Also, we did this, and further I want to edit more. And our component for loading, this media placeholder, when I pass it a link to an image, it doesn't show this link. Therefore, we improve it by doing a check. If the link is there, then it shows such images. Otherwise, well, here, I am again, he understands me. It suggests to me exactly what I need. So, we did this, we did it. We can also tweak a little in the styles by removing what concerns positioning, changing the main selector to slider. Further down, we are interested in the title, description. We have no backgrounds or images here, no masks, nothing. So also we delete. We have in wrapper, no wrapper, we don't have it. Actually, I hope our components have some maximum width. Hero, title. What? We copied the block. I already forgot. We copied the block. Hero. And there are completely different styles. From which block could we take them? Come on, we open the hole like this. We don't need colorful, but we need this. This is ours. Block, news, news, archive, recent news. Therefore, we will enter its season and take H2 with 8 and paragraph. And right here, you see there's the maximum width. It goes in the center, Control C. Here we have a slide container, and above the content, and in it will be these two paragraphs. We remove everything else. Select, and don't forget the closing bracket. So it seems everything is okay with the styles too. Let's say I said we will edit this product. Let's open it. Right now it's empty. Absolutely. You see, firstly, not because there is no data here from you. Let's add game store. Let's say that's it. Let's add but because the block itself is not being called. That is, here I am adding some data. Let's a gallery, so I'll press Control, select two pictures, save. You see, all the data was added, but there's nothing because that's how it's set up. Until we call the single game block here, it doesn't load. But as soon as I add it, it basically loads everything for me. Next. What was that block? Call to action. The next. Call to action. And some links. Let's add. So I'll save it well. And our block, which we have now, reached, is the slider. Let's add it. In this style, why didn't you pick it up? Seems to be centered. Or maybe I just need to clear the cache and update. Let's add this, then figure it out. Adding a title. Adding a description. Adding slides. Something is loaded, I choose, so I seem to be doing, and here, it hasn't updated again. The block is old, so apparently. Let me refresh this page. So I paused the video and it gave an error for the second time. Yes, that's how it happens. So there is definitely a problem somewhere. In the area of the stove, I performed several manipulations. First, tried to access the database to see what fields might be there. If there are any metadata, I deleted some manually, but nothing helped. The next step. Guys, in such cases, I install Query Monitor. This plugin shows you which queries are on which page, all errors, that is, absolutely everything. I installed it, and with the help of this Query Monitor, when we go to our products, the problematic ones, because the most interesting thing is other posts work perfectly. But ours, which we supposedly edited, even though I pressed save twice without fully filling in the data, we get here I see the error itself. Until this moment, Gutenberg did not show it. The Query Monitor plugin does not display it on the screen. I see that the function getID is in the files. The block is on line 255. I went to this file and see that it is our single game block, which we were just adding. We create an object with the product for the games, then call the getID method, trying to obtain it. And it turns out that on this page I'm trying to get the getID, but the object does not exist. Therefore, you can make such a check to reach the editor if the object exists. Then I open and show all this content. And to the very end, That's one option in this case. So if we have the object, if this game object is false, then I won't enter this content. And after that, the editor is already loading. Its image disappeared because I deleted some methods. Let me bring it back. So the future is already at the top in this area. There was such an image there. And the slider. I also deleted. I went to the local database and looked a bit into why this is happening, because this is also happening for the first time. Apparently, it's asynchronous here. The code is sent before the plugin initialization. I assume, though I'm not sure about this right now. And it was sending a request before the data was collected, trying to display it here, but the object hadn't been formed yet. But in any case, that code was giving an error. Now, this check kind of saves us from that. Let's get back to our block with the slider. Let's insert the image right away. Now there's the preview. It works perfectly for us too. At the same time, we got acquainted with another feature. This is the Query Monitor plugin. In any unclear situation, install this plugin. It helps at least to understand where it is, because if it's a page on the site, kind of in this debug, it will show us right away. But in Gutenberg, something didn't display. Error. Even though debug is enabled by default. Let's add more pictures. I'm not saving another picture using this picture. And let's save it now. Refresh. Yes, it's great. It works. On the front end, let's check. It definitely works here too. Now we just need to style our slider and center this data. Let's just apply. Text align center to this container. Let's launch a separate container for the slider itself. Next, we have it. It needs padding here and here, so that when this thing increases, it doesn't jump. Let's add padding. Top 100 pixels, padding at the bottoms 100 pixels. I think 100 pixels should be enough. Next, inside we have wrapper. We take this wrapper. Display. Flex, created to stretch them in one line. And that's all for now. The next container is the slide. Swiper slide. For it, we will set the following styles. Position on the Z index to 1. Since I have two images there, I want to position them absolutely and animate them. Set. Transition. Transport. And signal. Next. Give me the slider itself. Let's make it. The slider is in this container. Next, log it through. Speed. Let's set it to 2000. Slice per view auto. Speed. 1000, let's just leave it. Leave keyboard control and continue with the internet. Slide arrow. Since it centers with the central one, this here the active slide is indeed next. The zoom effect is a powerful tool that allows you to enlarge specific areas of your screen. This feature is especially useful in presentations and meetings. And let's set the zoom to a maximum of 1.8 somewhere and the minimum is 1. So this will be a swiper. Media, object. Okay, let's see what this gives us. Okay, the slider is initialized. Let's return to the styles. So here is the image with the class. Of the image class, the color of the sky is a beautiful shade of blue rimage. Here is the position absolute. Width 100%, colon, height 100%. And we position it top and left 0. We set and place it under Kia's index 1. Time as on original. We set the Z index to 2 and set the position to relative. Okay, good. This background image has a blur. Let's take this style, enable the mode here, and let's take the blur filter. Let's add it. Let's take a look now. Okay, next, the width is very large. We need to deal with the width. Let's try with the width. Next, the minimum. Width. So 3 is short. We can set 180 to 380 pixels. And also the images. Which ones will we have here? For them too. Set the maximum width to a percentage so they don't stretch. The height. Usually this property is generally set for the entire page in projects. I have little here. Okay, we set it. It didn't help. Let's figure it out. Well, let's do it then. I set only the minimum and it's clear that it didn't help. I need to set both the size on the image and the border radius for the sacred image, which we updated to 12 pixels. So with the width, let's see why the width is interpreted this way. The slice interrupted, we have it set. Let's try this central one. Like this. The active transform will be 1 and 8, and we'll add a Zindex to make it above all the others. And besides that, also the previous and next ones. These assignments if this one is somewhere between 1 and 8 in scale, this year on energy 1 and 5, 1 and 6. 1, 5, let's go. Like this. 1 and 5, and the Zindex is an 8 less than the active one. So good. And the maximum width we'll set right here where we set the minimum. Let's not just set the width to 380. It doesn't matter what size we will export. The images will be scaled on CSS to what we get. I didn't add next here. So, but there are few images. We need more images, then this flag won't be here. Let's add extra ones, add a few more images. And let's refresh here to load the styles. Yes, here it looks like this slider. It doesn't load JS. That's why it looks, but now in my opinion, it's very cool how it turned out. Of course, the images should be changed when we refresh. All the images will look even cooler. Next, we should add margins for the block and add margins both at the top and bottom. And precisely these 100 pixels that I added, you can even make them a little less. You can set it to 90. It exactly consumes the area. Here we added a margin and everything works perfectly. Works. What else can we do here? To play around with the effect a bit more. And I don't know, I'll probably leave it like this. The effect is quite what we needed. Next. This one has, product will also have, well, since we started margin, no, reset it, then it will override. Oh no, there's a stop here. No, need to reset here. Here you can marcher specifically for the admin panel and the slider in this admin panel. I don't know if it makes sense to do anything here. I usually don't do anything. I always leave it like this, except this padding here is not needed in the admin panel. So we can update it now. And now the block is more compact. Next. I see a lot of metadata was deleted while I was trying to do it manually. And I deleted the cost, so let's probably add them back. Here's something. But on the other hand, we clearly see what wasn't added. Now, there's nothing extra here. Just no containers, which means we did everything correctly. So the product already looks better. Let's go. Let's add it. Check the cart. Make sure this notice doesn't go into the header. It doesn't. Great. It needs to be styled, but I won't do that in this course. You will do that on your own. And after this slider, we have the FAQ section. We call another block FX, some title, and filling in the section. So good, wonderful. And for full implementation, that's all. Blocks that are related to the product content. For the game, they will be different on various pages. Of course, if you want to make this block like F and Tuca global for all products, then we add it not here, but in the editor, and it will load with the same content on all pages. We will create such a block in the next lesson for similar games. So, we will finish at this stage. See you in the next lesson where we will implement this logic.